Most people look at the elephant and see a king because he can shake the ground. But today, I want to talk about the ones who actually hold the ground together, the ones who work in the dark so we can live in the light. This isn't just a story about an ant and an elephant. It's about the moment when a giant realized that he was actually very, very small. It was a bright morning. The ant village was alive with movement. Most workers were out for finding food, but the families stayed behind in the colony. But you have to understand, someone else was also awake in the jungle. The golden child of the jungle, a baby elephant. Everyone in the jungle loved this little guy. He would splash water on sleeping tigers and pull the tails of monkeys just for fun. He was annoying, sure, but he was cute. The other animals always just smiled and said, "He's just a kid. He doesn't mean any harm." He was used to being forgiven for everything until this moment. The baby elephant was laughing, his trunk waving in the air. He saw a bright yellow butterfly. He was running wild and chasing the butterfly. With one careless step, 100 homes were gone. Tiny walls turned to dust. The ants inside hadn't died, but they were injured and trapped. While the ants struggled to breathe, the baby elephant just kept running, laughing without knowing what he had done. By the afternoon, something unexpected happened. The ants gathered their courage. They didn't want to fight, they wanted justice. They marched to the father elephant. They stood at the base of his massive tree like legs. They were looking like a tiny dots of dust against a mountain. The ant leader stepped up and spoke with courage. "Sir, your child's play broke our world. Our families are hurt. Please tell him to be careful." But the father elephant didn't even stop chewing. He wasn't trying to be evil, but he was just blinded by his love for his son. He looked down at them like they were just dirt on his foot. "You are just ants," he rumbled. "You're good for nothing. My son is a force of nature. Everyone else in this jungle loves his energy. Why can't you? And why should a mountain apologize to a small stone for a little dust? And to be honest, I don't care about your village. My son's happiness is worth more than your tiny world. I didn't even know you existed until you started screaming. And listen carefully. This jungle would be better without you. You are just taking up space. You are worthless." Worthless? Worthless. The real pain starts here. The houses were made of sand. They could be rebuilt. But those words of Father Elephant, they felt like poison. How would you fix a hurt when someone tells you that you don't even deserve to exist and you are worthless? And then, from the mud of the riverside, an old turtle slowly walked into the sea. He didn't yell, he just spoke calmly. "Big friend, you have the strongest legs in the world. But do you even know what you are standing on?" The elephant laughed. "It's just a ground, old man, it's just a ground." "No, it's not just the ground," the turtle replied. "You said the jungle doesn't need them. But look closer. Who cleans the ground so the forest doesn't turn into a smelly dump? They do it so you can stand here. Who turns the waste into rich soil so the grass stays green for you? Who guards every leaf from the hungry insects so the trees can breathe? Who keeps the entire forest alive without making a sound? The turtle looked at the baby elephant and then back to the father. You say your son is the heart of this jungle. You are right, but listen to me. If your son is the heart, then the ants are the blood. They are the ones who keep that heart beating. Without them, the heart would stop. The jungle would die in a month. Your son would have no fresh grass to eat. He would have no green trees for shade. Silence. The elephant stopped laughing. The turtle continued. Your greatness is a gift given to you by the ones you think are nothing. If you keep crushing the blood, you are stopping the heart of your own son. You aren't just hurting them anymore. You are crushing your son's future too. Now think, who is worthless? And do you really love your son? The silence that followed was heavier than the elephant himself. The father looked down. For the first time, he didn't see a smudge of dirt. He saw the tiny, injured bodies of ants. The turtle's words were ringing in his ears. If your son is the hurt, then the ants are the blood. He realized that by insulting them, he had insulted the very life that kept his own son alive. The pride in his chest collapsed. He lowered his massive head until the trunk touched to the dusty ground in front of the ant leader, a giant bowing to the speck of dust. I was blind, he whispered, his voice thick with a pain he had never felt before. I thought my size made me a king, but it only made me a bully. I'm so sorry. My son broke your homes, but I broke your souls with my pride. I let my love for him make me blind to your pain. I called you nothing and worthless. But now I realize that we are nothing, we are worthless without you. I didn't just ignore your struggle, but I broke the balance of our world. The baby elephant walked up, his large eyes filled with tears. He didn't look like a golden child anymore. He looked like a son who had finally grown up. He looked down at the tiny, bandaged ants and whispered, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my games cost you so much. Please, tell me how to make it right. The ants looked at the two giants. They didn't see enemies anymore. They saw partners. We forgive you, the ant leader said softly. But words won't put a roof over our children's heads. If your hurt is truly changed, then use your strength to help us rebuild. Then the next morning, the jungle saw something impossible. A baby elephant moving with extreme care, using his trunk to lift heavy branches and stones, not to throw them, but to protect. He was building the ant village stronger than it had ever been. The giant and the small were finally working in one rhythm. Because the world is like a body. If the small are the blood and the giants are the hurt, you can't have one without the other. If the blood stops flowing, the heart stops beating, and then the whole body collapses. This is someone cares, and remember, no matter how small you feel today, the world wouldn't be the same without you. See you in the next story.